I think two things immediately come to mind. The first is the vision from, you said, the leadership. The Cruzy family really had, from 1919, we started in 1907 as a butter company.
Oh, wow.
In 1911, we started making ice cream of the excess cream. In 1919, E.F. Cruzy took the company over and was president or general manager. He passed away in 51, and his two young sons, Ed and Howard, really took us from that period all the way. Howard Cruzy's still on our board of directors. Ed was phenomenal. They were unique in their own personalities, but had just tremendous, not only work ethic, but they had a really good way to communicate the vision of where they wanted to take us. And it was long term. It was not next week or, next year. We want to do this for the long haul. I remember young in my career, Howard Cruzy saying, "It's a cinch by the inch, hard by the yard." I'm finding that that's not said today. Because when people haven't heard that, but a cinch by the inch meaning, personally, to be number one, and usually is what you want. You want to be the number one company. His philosophy, or the philosophy of the company, I should say, was to be the very best you can be where you're at, but don't outpace yourself. Because so many companies they hit it hard. I like to say Shark Tank moments. You get to this point, and then, okay, now what do we do? Do we take the next leap of faith? But you don't get ahead of yourself. And so they really instill that. Just take one market at a time. We were only in the Dallas. When I started, Dallas, Houston, and Austin. We were not in San Antonio. We were not in Waco, where I wrote the paper. In fact, first taste of Bluebell, me and a friend got in a car and drove to Temple, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Because that came out of the Austin branch, and got a half gallon of strawberry ice cream.
Come on.
That was the first flavor, the first taste. Put that half gallon between us in the car, popped the lid, and drove back. And
it was gone
empty by the time we
you were there, it was
we
gone.
wanted to turn around and go back. We thought, no, this will probably put us under.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it was really that just let's work hard. Let's work hard together. Understanding what the vision is, understanding what the goal is, but nothing was beyond them. They would be willing to do whatever it took. They would lead beside you and not be the boss per se. And that just stayed with me. I thought, if they're willing to roll up their sleeves and get in there, share the dream and work and know that what you're doing is for the good, then it was an excitement.
Wow.
You missed a day of work, you really truly felt like you missed something. Like what happened yesterday, what went on, because things were really happening very, very rapidly. Stuff like cookies and cream came out.
Those flavors, they're still great.
Absolutely. So,
wow.
Anyway.
No, that's powerful. Two things that come to my mind from that. You're absolutely right. It's not, one of the quotes that is famous right now in our culture is success loves speed, or and so it's like, hey, the faster you go, and Silicon Valley, they kind of took the trail running of
right.
Everybody raises all these millions, but the reality is, like, that's not everybody's story.
That's right.
And I think a lot of times we see the Chick-fil-A's, we see the Bluebells, and we're like, hey, I want to get there now, and if more money means that, and hiring a lot of people, but
right.
you may be underdeveloped as a leader to sustain it, then you burn out. And a lot of times we see a lot of companies that just don't make it. Patience, what you said. I think a lot of times we want what we want, and we want it now.
That's right.
And we have a culture that says, hey, you can get it now, you can buy it now, you can you can cut corners, or all those different things. But rarely do you a lot of times, you see it where, let's take an Uber, for example. And I love Uber. I use it. But they built really fast, and they had to let go of their CEO because there were so many cracks in the foundation from the speed. Yeah. And so it's cool to see that's what stood out to you. And I think for anybody watching, I think the value of patience, which it's a fruit of the spirit, but
that's right. No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
But it's not I notice of all the fruits of the spirit, that's the one that we rarely like to pray about because we know that means traffic.
Right. I've always said I'd be a terrible doctor because I really have very little patience.
Exactly.
Terrible joke, but no, I think that because what happens is it lends you to it puts you in a position to compromise. When you're going to at such a rapid pace and things start to get out of control, to make make the machine continue to go pushes you to potentially compromise. And you don't want to be in that position. You want to make sure that what you do every day, you're doing for the right reason, for the right cause. We had a little slogan that we used that said we want to consistently meet the expectation that drives the passion. So if you go to Florida and you get a half gallon of butter pecan or homemade vanilla, it better taste
the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we did a lot of cross comparisons and taste tests just to make sure that what we were doing consistently, because the passion's what kept us going, and still to this day keeps us going.
Wow.
Even as a retired person,
yeah,
I want to buy it and take it home, and I still want it to taste exactly what my expectation is. So
100%. And yeah, we consistency of experience. I mean, again, that's what builds great brands. Of like, hey,
right.
You go into a Chick-fil-A, you go in to buy Bluebell ice cream, it's going to taste the exact same, the same formula, and hopefully with the same experience that you're going to get. Right. But that I don't think that doesn't come overnight. That's a lot of testing and perfecting, and I guess and this was not in my notes. What in your experience, again, growing with the company, because you mentioned when you take your time and grow at a steady pace, it allows you to, maybe not take opportunities that, would decimate it, but you can be more wiser. Do you remember a time when there was maybe a decision that the company were like, yeah, we could do that, we could expand really fast, but we're not going to do that, and you kind of saw almost like the fruit of that culture point of, hey, we're going to go steady?
Right. No, I mean, especially in those early days when we were only, again, in the markets that I mentioned, the Dallas-Fort Worth, people were bootlegging the product in the markets. They would come down. Oh, yeah. They were, bringing a freezer on the back of a pickup truck, going in and looking for the $1.99 special and buying out the store, and taking it back. And you'd think, man, why can't we just go on and go there? But at the same time, and I think you said it beautifully, is your personnel properly trained? Do they understand, again, the culture? Will they keep that pace at the same level? And it's easy to want to run to that. There's, today we're only in 23 states.
Really?
We still have not all half. Now a couple of them, it'd take a little bit of effort to get the truck to Hawaii.
Oh, really?
I mean, we don't go to Hawaii.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it would be a hard drive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's back to the cents by the inch and making sure we have a unique way of doing it. We make the product ourselves and we store it, put it on our own trucks, take it to our own branches, and then go to the store with our own personnel.
Oh, wow. So there's no middleman.
There's no middleman, and we do it because of the nature of the product. We want to make sure, again, that it's in the condition that it should be when you get it to the house. And so with that, we don't go through warehouses. That would be a lot easier. I mean, we could do that tomorrow and be in the entire country. But we want to make sure when you try Bluebell for the first time, or you've been eating it all your life, that it's what you expect, because it takes you somewhere. It takes you to grandma's house. It takes you to a memory of some kind, a celebration of some kind. And so we take that real serious.